Hello everybody, this is going to be another video about implied information. Or sorry, about Dota fundamentals. So this one's going to be about implied information. Or I guess just information in general. But I imagine it's something that some people could learn from. It seems to me to be pretty intuitive, but I guess it's a topic I at least consider worth talking about. We're going to go ahead and skip 10 minutes into this game. And then we're going to talk about maybe a little bit further. We're going to go 20 minutes? 16 minutes? 18 minutes? Yeah, that's good. This really isn't a split push hero, but that's fine. So I have to wait till there's like less action, so I need me to respawn. So anyway, to give the background on what I want to talk about here is like how to use the vision that your team has effectively. I picked the worst spot to fast forward into because we have no fucking words up at all. Are they dewarding us or something? Nick's sitting on 2. Sven's sitting on 1. Alright, we just got 3 words in our inventory. You know, we'll go deeper. We'll go deeper. Okay, cool. So this is a really good position actually. So right now they're pushing in tower. Their position's pretty obvious. So in general, what I want to talk about here is when you're playing a carry, or even when you're playing support and you're trying to figure out movements, is to figure out, based off your vision, where the enemy is likely to be. So the obvious is, if I have a ward... God damn it. This is bad. I think I die in the next, like, minute. But yeah. So, like, if I have a ward here, and I see a person here, then that person's obviously there, right? That's pretty self-explanatory. When I say implied vision, what I mean is... Come on. What I mean is, I have a ward here, I don't see anyone here, and I don't see anyone here, and let's just pretend they're not on the map right here, right? And I've got a ward here that sees their ancients here. So the creep wave, we got a creep wave kind of center mass here. I know they're not in their woods, I know their woods isn't farmed out. What this would imply to me, if I didn't see the team right in front of me, is that they're either roshing or they're doing a smoke through our woods. Because their lanes are in a very good position right now. Now, I don't necessarily see anyone, but based off the fact I don't see anyone isn't of itself information that you can use, right? And that's something that's really important for when people avoid smoke ganks. Because it's really easy to avoid a gank when you see someone coming, but when you see people avoid smoke ganks, it's because players are able to use that implied information to figure out what the enemy must likely be doing. So if you have like a clockwork or an invoker or someone, if you have like one of those heroes, and you think the enemy team is either roshing or smoking, then it's very easy for you to check if they're roshing. And if it's not column A, then it's most likely column B. So that's something you really want to think about here. So we'll try and get like a few more situations here. So I fire that rocket. My whole team's almost up. I think I want to look for a fight here. This is kind of relevant to the whole vision conversation, but I play this pretty horribly. Probably fire that BKB a little prematurely. Oh my fucking god, are you kidding me? The whole Dota crashed. This game sucks sometimes. This is those moments where you debate whether or not you should just restart the video. You know what? Maybe I'll even just redo that first game I watched for the one about self-analysis. Because I could watch that from the anti-mage's perspective and talk about implied vision through that. I think that's probably worthwhile. So when you're... Yeah, we'll just do that, because I think that gyro game is probably a pretty shitty example. But I'm just kind of going off, like, recent games. I have no idea. In case you couldn't tell in the first video, I have no idea who this fucking anti-mage is. Let's go... 15 minutes in, 12 minutes in. Alright, this one the LC. So this is also really important when you're playing against a hero like a Shadow Blade LC. So I made a video a while back that I got like some crap for, which is where I analyzed Black's game from what major was that? The Kiev major, where they were against an Axe, and people were like, well, he didn't really have, like, good vision, and, you know, he couldn't do anything. People are making excuses, and I feel like the excuse for that comes from people not understanding how to play around implied vision. Because, like, Black had plenty of information to play safe to a reasonable extent. And when you're in a game that's like close, and particularly where your team's vision isn't like perfect, it's very important to be able to like use what little information you have to infer other information. And by being able to do that, by being able to like infer that other information, it's going to greatly help you play split push heroes and avoid pickoffs slash get pickoffs slash contest Roshans that might otherwise be hard to contest. So that's why we want to look at this from this guy's perspective, right? Because like right now we have a ward here. We know, okay, so we're going to keep in mind on yellow. When we know where yellow is, we're scared, right? And there he is. That was a really funny moment. Oh, he got denied. That's amazing. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I think that's probably one of those harder kills to avoid because you don't have like the. Let's see. Hold on. Let's actually back up. Let's see if this aim could have avoided this based off the vision we know we had. So LC is yellow. We see LC in the mid lane. All right. Do we know LC? One, he should be clicking his LC to check his items. If he knows he has a shadow blade, this becomes more scary. So he goes. Okay, there we go. Boop. Yeah, so if he was paying attention and clicked that, he could have seen the LC had a Shadow Blade, and then when that LC goes missing from middle, he's either going up here or going here, or like Shadow Blading through. In this case, I guess he did a Shadow Blade through, and then got the kill on him. That one's probably going to be hard to do with this vision, but you should know that this LC, now that you've been killed by that Shadow Blade, you should be much more cautious about what's happening. So we see the LC's top. We know we can push here, mostly with impunity. We push up here. We have eyes on 3 people, and the LC's dead. This is good. We take this camp, and we go back. So our vision tells us that we have 2 people on our side of the map. So this means I want to take this camp, and I want to go north. I want to go into their woods. This is also good, too. You can go to our Ancients, which you know is safe, because you had 2 people in our woods. The LC respawning. You see the LC in mid. See, what you can do now is you can choose to cut south, and this is a little safer because you know where the LC is. Personally, I think the better play would be to go north, bait the LC up there, and then TP into bottom, just to waste his time, and then provide a safer place for you. So he's pushing up here. This is good. We have eyes on our LC in the jungle. We have eyes on one in mid, and pink by their Ancients. So we know our woods are really safe here based off implied vision. We even could have pushed up bottom because we know where the LC is. Once again, knowing where that LC is pretty much the end-all, be-all of what you can do in a game like this. This is very important for pretty much any sort of split-pushing hero or any carry where you can at least go back to that style. Or like even when you're playing, like it's just really important on a hero like Anti-Mage because of this. So let's go back and we'll analyze this death and we'll see what the implied vision told us before he died here. Okay? So the whole team's in this area. We knew the LC was top. The LC is no longer top. If the LC is no longer top, that means that he's either in those camps, which I think we knew were dead, right? Hold on. Can we see that? Okay, so based off our implied information here, we have the LC's top, and the LC stops showing top. This AM tries to farm in like a really aggressive position to like help his team, but that's like not where you want to be. I think we even caught the LC TPing in here, didn't we? Yeah, I think we had vision on that. Team's definitely buying. Yeah, okay, there's vision on that, I'm pretty sure. Hold on, we gotta. Do we have a ward up here? Yeah, we do. Yeah, okay, that was just a real fuck up. That wasn't even an implied vision thing. That was an actual vision thing, and even if you didn't see that TP coming in, being here is overall stupid. So that's not really a whole vision-related death. That's a really poor decision-making death, which is also bad. So you push up here, you see Brown. Oh, we'll slow this down. We saw Brown coming this way, which is a Slark. You're not scared of a Slark because you just blink away and he does nothing. Once again, we're still very scared of an LC, but that's really our only fear. So we see the LC up there with our straight ward vision. We see one bottom. You know you can get 2 waves in top here. This is too greedy. Going into the jungle here is... was I wrong about that next creep wave? I don't think I was. But yeah, you could have... Because you have that really good vision, you'd likely be able to see when he goes for the Shadow Blade. Blinking in this direction is very poor because we know the LC is nearby here. Like, where the fuck is this LC? Yeah, he's right here. So, like, once again, we knew where the LC was. We know he's in this area, so your goal is to go somewhere else where he's no longer a threat. Whatever Manta we're pushing here. We knew the LC was in the jungle. I think we saw him come mid. We don't have eyes on our LC. I think here to play safe. Okay, no, we see LC bottom, so we go back into our woods. Or we go pushing their woods. See, now he's going into his woods, which is, once again, where the LC is. He keeps going towards the LC, which is bad. So once again, we look at our vision, and we see 2 people in mid. I can't tell if that's a bug or not. I don't think we see Brown there. No, I guess we did see Brown there. Maybe it's just because he was attacking a camp. We got eyes on the LC again. We know we can keep pushing here. I think in this case, you push this tower, you push it a little bit, and then you blink and you TP somewhere else. And he's running into, as a random side diatribe on an anti-mage thing, he's running into the exact reason I do not level the blink at level 15. I get 20 attack speed. 1, synergizes with your illusions, helps you push better. The blinking lets you get to creep waves quicker and can arguably help you split push better in that way. But the attack speed synergizes for getting you more kills, when you add a tower, pushing the tower quicker, whatever. The bigger problem to the blink is that even with tread swapping, you can't afford constant blinking because of the mana cost associated with it. You're functionally, since AM uses his blink on cooldown, you're increasing the cost by 20%. Yeah, I think it's 20%. It goes from 5 seconds to 4. It's a 20% reduction in cooldown, which translates into a 20% increase or 25% increase. Oh man, math. I could figure this out, but it's really not that important. It's like somewhere between a 20 and 25% increase in mana cost, which AM can barely afford his blinking to begin with, and when you add that in, it's really bad. Him being here with this low of mana is really bad too. But we're here to talk about vision. Our vision tells us that they're in their woods right now, so you want to push bottom up. Once again, we still do not have eyes on the LC. You would expect him to maybe be coming bottom and looking for the kill on the Lina. So this is good. You Manta, you push this up. He should be blinking towards the shrine right now and getting whatever. Because you could be pretty sure that where you are is probably okay right now. Yeah, you saw 2 people, so everything's kosher. And we're still missing eyes on the LC right now, which is kind of awkward. But eventually you're just gonna have to pull the trigger and go somewhere. But like farming, like him staying off the map is like really what he should be doing, but your ward's supposed to give you that vision. So once again, we know there's 2 people in their woods. The LC is still missing. An LC and Invoker can kill you. Okay, finally, we saw the LC in the middle. It took forever. We finally see him in the middle. Seems we can push up bottom really fucking hard right now. He shouldn't be going... Okay, now you can blink to the woods after this one, based off the vision. You can get 1 camp and then you keep going. Or he just keeps going. That's okay, too. He had time to get 1 camp in between there, if you wanted. Let's go back and look at this death and see what our vision tells us. I know I analyzed this death in the last video because of how stupid it was. But we're going to talk about this. So, right now we have excellent vision, okay? So we see the LC top. He's our biggest threat. We see Pink in middle. Pink is an Invoker. He's also another threat because the high damage he does. I think we saw a 3rd person here, right? But we end up with this creep wave pushed pretty far up. We know where the LC is, and we come to this camp based off the clock, and we see this camp is missing. We see 2 people in mid. We know, based off of everything we see here, they're not in their woods. There was an LC up here, and there's 2 heroes missing right now, and the only spot they can be is here. That's it, and he walks right into it. So the implied vision should tell you, walking up here is where the enemy is. And the scary part about this is the LC did just disappear. The LC could have TP'd here for like a smoke or something. I guess you walked through the Ancients, so it's possible that he would have TP'd there and you might have seen it. This is a very risky place to go because you know for a matter of fact there's at least 2 people here. Based off the implied vision, because like I said, you see here, you see some people there, you knew there was 1 top. That means you had 2 people unaccounted for that can only be in this area, or they could be in your woods, but you just like passed through your woods and they weren't there, and they're not dealing with that creep wave, so they have to be over here. And once you see that camp, you have it confirmed that there's basically people over here. Yeah, so that's like a huge fuck up by not using your vision properly, because you should know they're here. Like, yeah, he could pop his Manta, finish pushing that, and then come back this way. Is probably how I want to play that. there's a chance that you could still get caught in a southern movement there if that LC doesn't show again. If they smoke like that, but realistically, like, you're really only scared of the LC. You saw the LC up here. If you Manta and push that there, if the LC TP'd here to look for you, yeah, so if he didn't go, the LC didn't even TP. The LC just disappeared for a second. So he would have went back here and he would have been totally secured with his movement and gotten a whole jungle camp, then been able to rotate top and finish his Lincoln Sphere. Like, that was a huge blunder based off the information we had. So, like, you should literally be looking at the map. When I play a game, I'm constantly looking at the minimap and asking myself, like, what are the threats? Who am I worried about? And where are these people? And, like, every few seconds, I'm basically refreshing that information, constantly refreshing that information that determines how you can play. Like, in this game, you should go into this game, look at it and say, okay, what kills me? And the answer in this game is pretty much only an LC duel should kill you. At any point in this game, it's only the LC duel is the only thing that should kill you, because an LC duel and a Sunstrike is fatal for an anti-mage that's not 5 or 6 slotted, while the LC is relatively far behind. It's very, very difficult for an anti-mage to survive a dual Sunstrike or a Blink Call Sunstrike. Yeah. So, like, that's the only thing you have to worry about here. And it's totally okay, because, like, sometimes, like, I'll get distracted by something, like, maybe there was a fight, maybe I was skirmishing, maybe I was skirmishing with, like, an enemy hero, or maybe someone was fucking yelling at me from behind, and I lose track of that information for, like, an unacceptable amount of time. I realize, like, I haven't assessed where people are for the last 15 or 20 seconds. And I ask, like, my team, like, hey, does anyone know these people's positions? Could they be on me? And I either get an affirmative or a negative or a I don't fucking know. And you'll get plenty of I don't knows. And when you get that I don't know, the answer is that you assume a defensive position and you assume they're near you until you get a chance to update that information with, like, stuff that will tell you where the enemy is. So that stuff is just very, very, very important when you're playing carry. Like, you can't find yourself getting caught by, like, really obvious movements based off the map vision, even when you're like, well, there were smokes, so it didn't count. Like, yeah, you're gonna get caught by smoke gangs sometimes, but like, you should have the state of mind or the ability, or you should aim to, like, what should I say, train those senses to where you can pick up on smoke gangs based off the implied vision. Like, I think there was a time where that I couldn't figure out where that LC was, and based off that vision, I would just assume that defensive posture and assume that that LC is looking for me somewhere, you know. So I farm in the most defensive spots I can find until that LC shows, because the LC can't stay not showing for, like, the entire game. He's gonna show up eventually, and you're just waiting for that time. So I think this kind of gave an idea on, like, how to use vision beyond what it directly tells you, which is really just what I wanted to kind of get across. Because if your goal is to improve, that's one of those things that's going to greatly improve your ability to play carry. And it's really good for carrying, and when you're playing support, it's also really good to have, like, that knowledge, because it tells you where the enemy is, you know? Like, obviously it tells the carry where the enemy is, but it tells the support where the enemy is, so you know where your smoke gank has to go, you know? Based off the vision you do have, you know where your smoke gank has to go. Or maybe, like, you'll have that like, prescience of mind to figure out that, oh, based off what I see, the enemy's likely in Rosh, and you can, like, try and coordinate your team to contest that Roshan or something. And just being able to process and use that information in its totality is just a skill that, like, I can't emphasize enough, like, how important it is. Particularly if you play a hero like Anti-Mage or Alchemist or Ember Spear, any of the split push heroes you can come up with. Like, that's the biggest thing that'll separate a good from a bad player. Is, like, knowing when to get the fuck out of dodge and avoid those ganks, and play safe. So we can end this video here. I think I kind of got the point across of, like, what you want to keep in mind, how seeing vision implies certain other movements based off what you see, or implies other unit positionings, even if you don't know the exact position. And that's really where, like, next level, like, interpreting vision. That's also why, to go into that, like, if you're playing support, aggressive wards are way better than defensive wards. And the reason for this is, let's look at this. This is actually the last thing we talk about in this video, because I didn't go over it, and I do feel like it very much applies to this. We get slow here. Okay. So we have a ward here. We're the Radiant, okay? Hold on, I want Radiant Fog. That's what I want. Okay. So let's say I'm the Radiant and I'm playing this retarded anti-mage. If I have a ward, if I have defensive wards here, and let's say here, right? I know that their team is not in this area, right? If they're not in this area, then they're probably in this area. And all these defensive wards' purpose serves is telling you where the enemy team is, or sorry, when the enemy team is coming for that movement on you. And if they smoke, you don't know if your wards just miss their smoke. You don't know if they have a Shadow Blade. Well, they're probably not going to have multiple Shadow Blades, but like if you have these defensive wards, you can see when they straight up just walk into your jungle and they walk over to gank you. You can't use that information to dodge a smoke gank, because the smoke gank is based off like bypassing your ward information and hopefully getting that advantage. So, but like let's say you have the ward here and the ward here, and then you're farming here, so you push out your creep wave or something. So let's say you get your creep wave to about here, which is about the equilibrium point, right? You know there's no one here farming this. You can see that based off your woods, there's no one in their woods, and that implies that there's somewhere in this area, meaning they could very well be looking for you, and if there's multiple heroes missing, like they're 2 supports and then like, let's say they're offlane initiator, the probability of them going for you is extremely high. And even though you didn't see them on wards, you know that they must be somewhere in this area. So let's say you have 3 wards. You got 1 ward here, 1 ward here, and like let's put the third one, I don't know. We'll just do another aggro one. Let's say this one, right? And you get the creep wave pushed up to here, but you don't see anyone dealing with this creep wave, you don't see anyone in their woods, and these people are all missing. That movement's 100% coming for you. And that those aggressive wards, from a defensive standpoint, give you the information to pick up on smoke ganks, while standard defensive wards will not give you that information. And it'll help you survive earlier on, and maybe the first 10 or 12 minutes. I think it's really good to have those defensive wards, or at least one of them. But right after that point, these aggressive wards are always going to be your like bread and butter when you're supporting. Like when I see like I think I even pointed out, I think it's probably in this game somewhere. Is it this game? I think there's like a ward right here, which just like, it was not a good aggressive ward, it was only like a semi-aggressive ward. It was like a defensive ward for an offlaner. It was really weird. But yeah, like that vision doesn't really tell you enough. Yeah. So, and the other benefit is like when you have these aggressive wards up, one, it gives a carry his information that he needs to determine if he's getting ganked and determine when and where he can farm, and when it's safe to farm and when he needs to be defensive. The other really obvious benefit should be when their carry is in this position farming, you should know. That way you can execute a smoke gank with precision. Like, you know, if you don't have these wards, maybe you smoke up. Motherfucker, I don't pause this stupid game. So, like, let's say you don't have any of this ward up. You smoke up here. You try and walk here, and you see if your smoke breaks. Like, let's say it's... I guess the nighttime smoke's not a great example. But yeah, like, you walk up here and see if your smoke breaks, or if you can see that vision there, right? And then you come up to here, and then, okay, we didn't see a guy there. So we walk to here, and we see if our smoke breaks again. And then we try and walk over here and we see if our smoke breaks. And then our last spot might be over here, and then we cut south and retreat after our smoke fails, right? Like, that's how you should approach a smoke gank when you don't have that vision, but you need to, like, make a play. And that's also, like, when you can get those wards up, when you're making that smoke play for the first time. And you can also, when you're doing those type of movements, that's when you also get those aggressive wards down. You know, you don't just casually send your support walking in there to do it. You want to do it as part of a natural movement to try and get a kill on their carry. And then that initial movement helps you with your follow-up movements, because now you have that vision. So, like we said, with the first smoke gank, you try and use the smoke to see if it breaks, to figure out where their carry is. Like, if you're wrapping around here and your smoke breaks, you know there's someone in this camp, so you wrap around, get your stun, do whatever. So once you have these wards placed, like, you can execute those ganks with precision, right? Because if I have a ward here, or fuck it, let's say I have this ward here or something, or no, this is a better ward, right? If I see someone farming these ancients or farming that camp, they're either going to go farm this lane, or they're going to go farther into the woods and farm here. So I can time my smoke, like, if I see them farming this camp, I can time my smoke for knowing when they're going to be here. Because I see them farming the camp, so I'm like, okay, team group, we smoke, we go for this. And if we wait right here, they, like, let's just say an anti-mage as an example, farms this camp, farms this camp, farms this camp, blinks to this camp, and you catch him right as he's in the blink, because you know where his rotation is. You, like, an anti-mage has such obvious farming patterns if you play the hero and if you understand his farming rotate. What the fuck is this? They added that in? I never even knew that. Maybe that's just because it's a replay or something. I gotta check that in an actual game. Yeah, so because his farming rotations are so fucking obvious when it's an anti-mage, like, if you see him, it's so easy to project his next farming rotation. So, like, we'll just sit here as 3 people, the anti-mage will blink to here, blink to here, blink to here. When as soon as he blinks to this camp, oh, fucking dead. You know? And many carries are going to farm in a similar manner. It's not just like an anti-mage. So that's why that vision is so important. Kind of went on a bit of a diatribe here. I'll probably make another video separately about, like, warding. So I think that's also something that people don't really quite understand what your goals are. Like, oh, I just provide a vision, I just threw the ward down. And, like, if someone mainly plays support, they don't necessarily understand what a carry needs from a ward. So we'll talk about that in another video. Yep, so on this one here.